Hey guys, Jay here, and welcome back to another Throne and Liberty guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at healing in the Cave of Destruction. So today I'm going to give another live commentary on how I heal in the Cave of Destruction, some of the tips that I have for this, and also some of the thoughts that go through my mind as we're going through this. Again, we're going to be using all the same principles that I talk about in my PvE guide to healing. A lot of the same principles we talk in there I'm going to try to highlight here. And just so you guys know, this isn't a perfect run, but it gives you an idea of what to expect and kind of what to aim for as you're going through these dungeons. Cave of Destruction is a great dungeon to go through because it really tests your limit as a healer. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of poisons, a lot of enemies all over the place, and people are taking damage all the time. So it really tests you to see if you are following the guide and making sure that you're prioritizing healing over everything. So right now we're just starting out in the dungeon and we already have a lot going on. I'm taking a lot of damage from these poisons. Make sure you try to run away from those exploding ants, the mutant changing ones. But really what we're focused on is maintaining distance from those, but trying to keep our teammates up. A lot of the time in this run, people are going to get poisoned, and as you look on the left hand side there's that red kind of potion looking thing. And in the top left corner of that, there's a number. And so when that number goes up, that means that's how many stacks are going up. And I believe it goes all the way up to 10 stacks. And so the more stacks that the more stacks a teammate has on them, the more damage they're going to take over time from that poison. And so we have Clay Salvation, which I brought up in the PvE guide. That's a great utility tool, not only to heal, but it also can remove stacks. But I just want you guys to know that it only removes one of those stacks. So even if it goes all the way up to 10 and you're next to all of your teammates, you pop Clay Salvation, then unfortunately it's only going to bring that from 10 to 9. So I want to make you guys aware of that. So as you're healing in this, to not freak out if someone has 10 stacks, you're using Clay Salvation, and their health is still dropping. So in this Cave of Destruction dungeon, it's really going to be testing our ability to stay calm while we're healing people. There's a huge tendency in this dungeon to overheal and to also spam our healings to the point where we run out of mana very quickly. But if you guys follow the principles in my PvE guide of using our AoE spells effectively and efficiently, then you'll have no problem healing in this dungeon. You can see even here as we're going on this first mini boss that I always am throwing down my Fountain of Life and then topping people off if they need it with the flash arrow. But as you can see, everyone's at full health right now, looking pretty good. And so we don't have any issues with this very first one. But as people start getting stacks, you'll notice that their health starts to drop, and that's when things can go crazy for the healer, because now you're going to start spamming different heals to make sure that everyone is fine. But I want you guys to know that the damage that is oncoming is not as significant as it may seem. As you see 6 health bars starting to drop, including your own, just take a second and evaluate which ones are the most important. Who are my priority targets that we're trying to heal? And like I always say in my videos, look for your tank, make sure that he's healthy, check your health real quick, and then move on to the DPS. The tank is very important throughout this dungeon because a lot of the ants and the boss that we will discuss later really focus that tank, and you want to make sure he's as healthy as possible. So as you can see, kind of switch to my tank is on number 5 right now, and I'll switch to my 4 to heal him up. But then I always end up going back to my tank to make sure that he's all good. As you can start to see, the health bars start declining, but we stay calm and cool. We threw down our Fountain of Life. Everyone is doing pretty well. And then we top them off with the flash arrow. And it's just as easy as that, guys. As you're running through these dungeons, you'll notice that I rarely use my flash heal because I want to save my mana as much as possible, because some of these fights, as you'll see, some people will take more damage than you're expecting as the healer, and you want to make sure that you have flash heal in case there's a lot of damage being taken. As you saw, we had our tank number 6 and number 1 taking pretty decent amount of damage, so that's when I'm going to use my quick heals to get them back up. But then I focus on using my healing touch throughout this whole thing to make sure that I'm not spamming too many heals and I'm not losing all the mana that I have. While we're doing this simultaneously, we're going to be throwing out as much damage as we can. But again, this dungeon is very crucial that we're healing. If you're not healing in this dungeon, people are going to get wiped, and it always feels really bad when a healer rolls for heals but doesn't even heal people. So don't be that guy. Make sure to focus your teammates and get them all healthy before doing all the damage. So as you see, we go into our second mini boss here. For this one, again, I'm dropping Fountain of Life to get everyone's health back up. I'm starting to notice that my tank is getting a couple stacks right now. He's got 4 stacks on, and I'm going to drop a Clay Salvation. This will help me in the later runs, because at this point, people start getting a lot of those poison stacks, and it's okay to use your Clay Salvation to drop one of them. It'll only help you in the long run, but if you look at even my health, I got 10 of those stacks on me. And so to preemptively take care of all those stacks, I'm just going to give everyone passive healing with the flash arrow. This really helps me in the future because we're able to out heal all the stacks that are coming in. And as you notice, I just have enough time to pop my Fountain of Life, and then that'll get everyone back to full health. But look, we're not spamming our flash heal. We are just simply going through the dungeon as normal. Like I always say, just use your AoE heals as much as you can, spam some of your damage, go right back to your healing. And we always like to use that dot healing touch to make sure that we're not wasting any mana. And you can notice that as I'm going through this, I don't even need to stop at the campfire because I know that my mana is going to regenerate by the time the boss comes down. So as the boss is about to come down in this fight, it is very important that as we go through this to maintain eyes on your tank. Your tank is going to be kiting the boss away as best as he can. And so you want to make sure that he is healthy as possible. So you'll see that my cursor's already on him, and I'm going to throw down another Fountain of Life here right away, right at the beginning. And as his health starts to decline a little bit, I'm going to throw some touches of healing. And then I also have my flash arrow on the ready just in case people start taking more damage than we're expecting. And so when we're in the boss fight, it goes a little bit differently than throughout the rest of the dungeon. Through the dungeon, we want to keep spamming all the AoE spells as much as possible, but in this particular boss fight, we want to ensure that our flash arrow is saved at moments when multiple people are taking more damage than we can heal. This is important because we're going to be getting stacks at a very fast rate here that seem to do a lot more damage than the previous mobs, so we want to make sure to maintain that ability just in case. As you notice here with my Fountain of Life, I'm always using that on cooldown until I'm starting to expect that she's going to do her wipe mechanic, which is coming up right here. And how we handle the wipe mechanic is, again, we ride up halfway up to the top here and then run all the way up. We look for that ant that we need to kill, and we go right for that. Now, here's a little tip for you guys as you're doing this dungeon as a healer, especially my wand bow guys. Make sure right when you get to the top, throw your Fountain of Life down right away. We're going to start getting a lot of stacks on us, and so a lot of healers will start to freak out and spam all their heals on these people, but I'm telling you, don't do that. As you can notice, the health is starting to go down because of these stacks, but as I'm holding on to my flash arrow, I'm waiting for everyone's health to drop just a little bit so that I can heal everyone up at the same time, just enough time to eliminate all these stacks. And as you can see, no one's health was dropping even below half of what their health bar is. And so yeah, we're going to keep going through this. You keep throwing out your damage, and we're going to wait until the next wipe mechanic, which again, if you look, I'm using only my touch of healing or healing touch on the tank. I'm not spamming my flash heal. I'm not spamming anything else. I'm just going to be using that to top him off, because when we do get that to 3 stacks, that'll out heal all of the toxic poison that he receives. And so again, because I see a big group of people, I'm going to throw down my Fountain of Life here, but because the wipe mechanic is coming, we're going to have to run back up. And actually, it's a good thing I saved that Fountain of Life here, because we want to use that specifically for this ant fight at the top. So as we're going for the gem ant, again, use your fountain of life right away. People are going to be taking a lot of stacks, and this is where DPS start to get a little nervous because their health bar is going a lot lower than it normally is. And so, yeah, even though we have number 4 is starting to experience a lot of damage here, I'm not spamming too many heals. I'm just using my Clay Salvation to remove 1 sack. I'm waiting for the health to drop about a 4th down, and then I use Flash Arrow. This will enable us to be able to out heal the stacks that we have on us. This will give us enough time to reevaluate our priorities, making sure our tank is healthy, making sure we're healthy, and that everyone's good to go. And if you've noticed throughout this whole fight here, I have not used my flash heal, I don't even think once throughout this whole time. I like to just use my AoE heals, and I use Fountain of Life as much as I can, and then I always am using Touch of the Healing, trying to use it on my tank as often as possible to make sure that I keep him topped off with those 3 stacks that we get. And so, yeah, that's basically how we do this one. So just to recap, you want to make sure to use your Fountain of Life on cooldown until you start expecting that the white mechanic is coming, and then save your Flash Arrow for when people's health start dropping to about 1/4, and you guys will be fine. All right, good luck, and let me know if you guys need any help with anything else, and I'll see you in the next one.